Good morning, guys. We are here live. I'm just getting my camera set correctly. Let me make sure that the live is going well. It says I'm live. Happy Sunday, Keisha. I am waiting for my computer to catch up here. My goodness, where is it? Where am I at? Happy Sunday, Alicia. Ashley? Ashley, sorry. Am I live? There we go. I I was waiting for my computer to catch up with my camera and everything. So Keisha, Ashley, hi. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday so far. Um, Thanks for joining me. Today we're gonna kind of go through a grayscale live. So I use a lot of colors in my journal. And this week we are going to scale everything back and everything will be just a grayscale. So I'm going to use this little haunted house. And then for the weekend, I'm going to use the little black cat. So kind of sort of Halloween, but not over the top Halloweeny. That could be a bunch of blood or gore or anything like that. Cutesy Halloweeny. So one of the things, if you've joined me on a live like Keisha has, you know that I always put the washi at 10 o'clock because I tend not to schedule anything after 10. And so even if I have something that goes past 10, I'm usually not going out to it after 10. I did when I was younger, but at this point, I don't have anything that starts after 10. Um, as it is, we were considering going to trivia night this week, I think on Thursday. And we were looking at the trivia and it said it started at 8:30 and both of us looked at each other and said, 8:30? That is like way too late to start trivia. And then we both looked at each other again and realized that we're obviously getting old. If 8:30 is feeling like it's maybe too late in the evening to start something. Oh, Ashley, you're looking to get more into washi and stickers. Excellent. Uh, if I can help kind of guide you to stuff, absolutely let me know if there's things that you're wondering about. I have just kind of in the last few years really gotten into washi and stickers and then quickly amassed way too many of both. I have so many. So we're going to put this little cat up here at the top for the weekend. I absolutely love this. This little cat is a Subtle Dreams washi, and it just has that silver line with these little black cats on it. And so it's very, very subtle. It doesn't really get in the way of anything. It doesn't have a huge pattern to kind of distract you from anything. And you can use it just as a nice little divider line. And so this is absolutely one of my favorites. And then you can use whatever colors with it because it's just black and silver. So it doesn't necessarily have a whole bunch of color choices along with it. Because a lot of times, if you choose a washi that has a lot going on color-wise, trying to find like this, for example, right? You're suddenly getting trapped into a color scheme when you have something that's really, really colorful. And so in this instance, we're not trapping ourselves into a color scheme. I could take this and go in all different directions, or I could just use a black pen and it would still look wonderful with just a black pen. And so that's one of the things that I like the most about doing these grayscales once in a while. I am going to see if I have a weekend label, something that says weekend for here. Um, where do I have those? I think they're in these weekly kits. So I have a bunch of weekly kits from the Coffee Monsters Co. And usually in her weekly kits, they're usually 2 pages, and they usually have this little weekend banner on one of the pages. So this one would work because it is gray. Um, but I think it's got a little too much going on. It's a little more than what I want. Um, this gloomy day one would work also. It says finally the weekend, but then it's all colorful when it says finally the weekend. So as much as I think I'd like to to add that, I think I'm not going to do one of those. I think I have other stickers that say the weekend. Let's see in here. So Ashley, when I say I have a lot of stickers, I have a lot of stickers. This is my this is the kind of everything that is all over the place, not just Coffee Monster Co. So I just sometimes I get like I think I got these for free. Someone was giving away free ice cream stickers, and so I just got a whole bunch. I gave a bunch to my grandkids, and I just kind of keep them around. I have all of these, so if I decide I want some black and white stickers, they're just in here. But these are all different brands, not just Coffee Monster Co. Um, Coffee Monster Co. is fantastic. I recommend, especially um, if you're in the US with shipping, to order a bunch at once. So kind of wait until you can get a good chunk of that wish list. Um, here we go. I have some weekend stickers, but again, they've got a little too much color in them. I'm trying to do the black and white. So I was going to write weekend or stick in a sticker that said weekend, but I don't think I'm going to. Check one more place. Let's see. We'll look at what we have. Well, I'm going to pull this out because I know I'm going to want the gray uh, stickers for the meal planning. I don't think I have another. That's all. Weather. I don't think I have more weekends. I do not. Okay. Oh, Ashley, you're in Tennessee. Excellent. You're right around the corner from me. I'm in St. Louis now. I moved to St. Louis in um, December of last year. So you are right near me. You're very close. I'm going to get started. Since I've got these stickers out, I'm going to stop looking for something that says weekend, and I'm going to add in my meal planning for the week. I use this Stadler in place of a pencil anytime I want to really faint line. So I just want to kind of enhance the line that already exists. So 5, 6, and 7. All right. Nothing too fancy. And I think I'm going to use, I've got a selection of Tombows out. These are all neutral grays. Um, and I put the numbers in the description of what I'm using because a lot of them are faded on my Tombows, so you can't always see them real well. But I'm going to use this somewhat light one here for a heading. So I think that'll be fairly close to this color. And because I have a B6 and not an A5 Hobonichi, this doesn't exactly line up. So I always try and line up the Thursday. And if I line up the Thursday, then everything else is somewhat close. And so I can still make my stickers work, even though I don't have technically the right planner for the stickers. You'll find with Coffee Monster Code that everything, or a lot of her stickers, the full boxes and things like that, are geared towards the Hobonichi and their grid because that's what she uses. And that there's nothing wrong with that. That is perfectly fine. But right now I'm in a B6 sterling ink. And so the B6 is slightly narrower and slightly squattier. um, so it doesn't always work quite as well for me. I do think on these, let's get out these black and white stickers. I do have, I have 2 rolls of these, or sheets, rolls. Goodness. I clearly did not sleep enough last night. We are going to put this little plate set for our meals. And since I'm at the beginning of the month, I'm not worried about covering the end. You ordered the B6 for sterling ink for next year. Okay, so the cover, this particular cover, I got from Etsy. And I love it. I've had it a couple of years now. I will get let me drop the link. I will find the shop really quick and drop the link in the chat. I had a really hard time finding covers for B6 because they're just not they're not prevalent. It's not a more popular size. This one is leather. It is that Hobonichi style, so it's got the pockets, very similar to Hobonichi. And then I did get a cover on cover for it as well. And I ended up having the back part of the cover on cover did not have a slot for the pen loop. And so I ended up in this back part having to cut this plastic and cut a slot for the pen loop. But otherwise, it's been working really well. My cover on cover has seen better days down here. It's coming up, but it has held up overall pretty well. Let me grab that seller for you. I'm not sure, again, this was a couple of years ago. I know she does still have covers because I have purchased covers. It's Abigail Crafts. I have purchased covers from her this year for next year. So I know that she does still have covers, um, but I am not sure if she still has B6 because I'm moving into an A5 again next year. And so I'm not sure what her B6 selection looks like this year. Um, but the covers have all been that I've got have all been very well made. They do have the tabs or the bookmarks with the end pieces, very similar to Hobonichi, and I've really enjoyed them. They've always fit really well. Um, so good luck finding something that suits your style with that. But I do find Etsy to be kind of the best place to find those if you're especially if you're in a non-traditional size. Also because Hobonichi has gotten expensive, and I believe this year they're only selling covers with books in them, which is a little bit different than what they've done in the past. So let's look at this week and see what we've got going on. If you're wondering what all these words are at the bottom, these are my Inktober prompts. I am behind. I haven't done this first week yet, so I may or may not participate. I have a lot that I want to get done before the end of the year, and I think Inktober might just be a bit much for me. But I did write in all the prompts in case I decide I want to do it. Oh, Ashley, you've got a lot. You've got a B6, N1, N2, and an A5. Fantastic. Uh, well, when you go on to Etsy, one of the things you could potentially do is find, matching color covers. I got sparkly covers for mine for next year. I think I did a short when I unboxed those. Um, I have two A5s coming next year. So I have one for my general planning and then one for YouTube for doing some scripting and things like that on YouTube. And those are both going to be plans by Just Scribble. So they'll be kind of similar. She also has a very minimalistic style. I am going to put in my calls with my friends. I have a couple calls I'm doing this week. So I'm going to go ahead and put those in this dark color. One of the things I'm finding is that my calls are kind of sneaking up on me a little bit because I don't, normally they happen before, after, or in the middle of certain things. Um, and now they're just kind of, now that I'm not working and I'm job searching, they're kind of existing in the middle of the day. And so they're not really tucked up against something else. And so I'm finding myself, um, I'm finding myself not noticing as easily that I'm supposed to be on them. So we'll use this really dark color. Hopefully those will stick out. Oh, you're passing one down to your kids. That's fantastic. Uh, I have 4 kids. I told them that they can look through, read, whatever. They're all adults. So I've had the conversation that they are welcome to look through my journals, but keep in mind that mom is not just mom because I do write a lot of things in here that are not really necessarily geared towards my kids. When I write in my journals, I'm really writing for me. And so it's not always something that I necessarily would consider my kids reading. But when I'm gone, eventually they'll be able to make that determination on their own, whether whether they feel comfortable looking at what I wrote. I am thinking I want something cute down here. Let's go back and look at those weeks and see if we can't find a little box of some sort. So I put this one in backwards. I usually like to have the second page behind so that I can kind of see what the full boxes look like, or the Hobonichi boxes. So we'll go through and see if I can't find something that I think would fit with what I'm doing right now. And you see that tends to be what goes first when I'm using these sticker kits. It's not quite winter. We're still going to be in the 80s this week. Some of these journaling ones could work. I'm really trying to avoid adding color this week. We're going to try and stay very... So like I could do this because it's gray, and that's kind of nice. I think I'm going to do that. It's not spooky, it's not Halloween-y, but it is gray, and I think that that'll work nicely. And we'll kind of move him off to the side so he's kind of looking over all the haunted houses. Beware when you start getting little stickers with personality, they start to do things. You know, I'm not putting him on here thinking it's just a sticker. You know, it's a little emoji and he's looking over the sea of houses. Excellent. Oh, that's great. I love that you're thinking of your kids in that respect and adding things in there specifically for them. Because again, you know, my kids, there's nothing really bad in here. I'm not complaining about my kids or anything in it. But, but, you know, there's just things they might not necessarily always want to read. Trying to think where else we need to, what else we need to plan in here. I'm going to take the second gray for date night. And this is not much different. Did I use this one before? Nope, it is just slightly different. We usually do our once a week date night on Tuesday. We're considering changing up the date. We usually do it on Tuesday because that's the inexpensive night at the movies. But this week there's nothing in the theaters that we want to go see, so that might move. What I will probably do if it does move is just add another box. Like if it moves to Thursday, I'll add a box over here and I'll move it that way. The silent book clubs are always really, really fun. I have two that I like to go to around here, and one is a little bit further drive from me, and then one moves around a lot. What I found with silent book clubs is if I have a book that I'm really, really struggling to get into, I will take it with me to silent book club because then I have nothing else to do except sit there and read it, and I have to get into it, um, you know, to a certain length. And if I am sitting there reading for an hour and a half and I still haven't been able to get into the story, then it's probably a book that I'm really going to struggle to get through, and I might want to consider DNFing one, um, which in the book world means that you do not finish that book. And so if you're considering, I would say just go show up. There's at least at all of the ones that I have attended, there's never been any pressure to you can just show up and read. There's not pressure to talk to anybody if you don't want to. But people will get a little bit chatty ahead of time, and sometimes afterwards, depending on your book club. But during, everybody reads silently, so there's not a lot of pressure to talk, and it's really, really nice, especially if you're going to something, you know, new by yourself and you're not really certain about it. That can feel scary, but when you're doing a silent book club, it's a little bit nicer um, in that respect. I am going to, over here, add dinner. We eat obviously every day, but on Sundays, we go out to eat for dinner on our way to the grocery store. So usually dinner and groceries. Over here. And then we will put, I'm going to put this at 9:30 again on Sunday for next week. I would say stay tuned during the week. We are considering, is this the week that we're thinking about going to the Ren fairs? Okay, it's next week. All right. So this week should be fine, but next week I might need to change this time because we are thinking about going to the Ren fairs, and if we're in a hotel and such, that's going to be interesting. I may have to film it ahead and then just hang out with you guys on it. So we're going to use, I had that little camera there for playing with me. You know, I usually do these where I'm planning in real time and I'm talking to you guys as I'm doing it. I know I can pre-record it and just hang out with you in the chat. Um, and that may be what I have to do the week we go to the Ren fairs. Let's see, we've got that. I do want to kind of highlight I'm going to highlight 12:30 on Friday with this very, very light gray because my partner needs to stop with food and drink. At this time on Friday for a test that he's having later in the day. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. It's, you know, it's just nice to have, like, we don't always want to do things on the weekend, and so I don't necessarily want them going into my calendar ahead of time, because then if I don't do it, I feel weird having it on my schedule. But having those things available to look at and see what's going on is really, really nice. You know, I think that we might go to this later on today. There's so you know, it's nice out today, so we might go. We'll see what kind of energy we have for that. But there's not a lot of pressure because I haven't put it in here. Uh, so it's not kind of messing with all the stuff that's really actually for sure going on. Um, so I know that he can go and get the scan on his own. Sticky notes are a great idea. I love the sticky notes. Coffee Monsters Co. has a lot of really, really cute sticky notes. Not to further push you down the rabbit hole, but they do. They have a lot of really, really cute ones. They have sticky notes. So these are sticky notes. They are, they have the sticky at the top and it is removable, but they're still super cute and then they still fit inside these columns. It is a terrible, terrible rabbit hole because now I have all of these different colors of them. um, and I think that she always carries like the basic grayscale and the colors. And then for different events, she'll have the different kind of matching sticky notes for those. So Black Friday, she always does a Black Friday sale. I think she does it on Small Business Saturday. So she always does a really great sale. She has really, really good coupon codes. If you join her Facebook group, whenever she does the birthday sale, she's always got a really good coupon code. Um, the Black Friday Small Business Saturday sale, she always has a good coupon code. And then anytime that she doesn't have a coupon code, make sure that you put in potato pack, the all one word potato pack, and that'll get you a 10% discount on everything. So if she doesn't have a regular code, that potato pack always works. I always, if she has a sale and you're trying to do those ninja fingers for her sales, one of the things that I will do is put an item like a sticker sheet or something like that that I want in the cart a few minutes before the sale, go through the checkout process up until that final, hitting the button to check out, and I'll make sure that I add in whatever discount code I have for the sale because I cannot tell you how many times I have gone all the way through and checked out and forgotten to add that code because I'm, in a hurry and trying to get things in that quicker time frame. so, um, so yeah, um, make sure that if you're in a hurry, get online a couple minutes early, get one little sticker sheet in there, and then add all of your checkout details so that you're all ready to go. And that way, and then go back out of that checkout, and then add the other things to the cart, and that way you'll be good to go. You'll get everything that you need. All right, I'm gonna put, since he's having a little test, I have this little stethoscope here. At least I think that's what that is. We're gonna say that's what that is. And stick that on. I'm excited that I get to use this sticker set. I've had this sticker set forever and haven't really used it much um, because I'm always using things that are so colorful. Let's see if we have anything kind of looks like a moon. I'm going to take this money, the little money sticker. I'm going to stick this on Friday with a little task for myself. Usually I don't do tasks on the day, but one of the things that I've noticed is when I was working, my paychecks would drop on, every other Friday, and I would um, I'd check in with my finances. And I haven't been doing that because I didn't have that regular paycheck to check in with. Um, Hopefully that's about to change. I did get to the third round of interviews on um, one of the companies I've been interviewing with, and I'm really enjoying it. And then I have another company that is looking for contract work. So I have signed up for their contract work service. And so hopefully I'll have some work here very, very shortly. I'm going to take this little phone and put this right between these two because those are both phone calls. Thank you for the congratulations. There's nothing official yet, no official work, but hopefully pretty soon. Things are looking good. In this kind of climate, you always worry when there's nothing coming in. I am going to mark off here for the Colts game again. I'm not a football fan. I keep saying this. I don't mind it. I'll go to a game and enjoy it. But my partner does like to watch it on TV. I'm not a watch football on TV kind of girl. Um, then let's go in and highlight here. My Audible membership renews, and I have to spend my credits before this day or I will lose them. I have the annual membership with Audible. Oh, that's awesome. I love that you're going to manifest my job offer. That's fantastic. Um, with the contracting company, they did offer, they want me to work with them, but there's no set job yet. So it's kind of like a temporary service for architecture firms. So you would go in and work on a temporary basis. And that sounds great, but there's a lot of details that aren't clear yet on that. And I've signed up and let them know that I'd be interested if I'm available when they have an actual job available. They're working on a big contract now and they need to bulk up their roster because the company that they're dealing with needs 15 employees. Um, and it would be a great opportunity, but there's nothing there yet, so I don't really count that as employment. Also make a note here, we've got a full moon tomorrow. So if everybody's acting crazy, there's a full moon. It is the hunter's moon here in October, and this is going to be at 10:47 p.m. in Central Time. So if you're in Central Time, it's 10:47. And let's get our weather in. I was looking back, I've been doing weather because I did that look back over the last 10 years, and I've been tracking weather for a really, really, really long time. I need to catch up this week and put in all of the little sunshines. It's been sunshiny and beautiful all week long here. I heard we're getting colder weather though, and it looks like when I look at this, I am probably going to have to bring in my plants on Wednesday. Um, I have some outside plants that don't like to be below 50 degrees. And it looks like the Weather Channel is saying anyway that I'm going to need to bring them in. Wednesday, it's supposed to get down to 49. Maybe not that night, but definitely by the next night when it's supposed to get down to 47. Um, I don't like to keep them out and stress them out too much. And we're going to get right back up into the 80s for the weekend. And then I usually, in my current iteration of planning, I underline if it's supposed to rain. So we weren't supposed to get any rain this week, and we did not. Uh, but I usually like to underline if it says that it's going to rain, and then see what happens. I am going to. It's fall, so I'm going to add in this little sticker here because I don't have a lot going on this week. We're just going to put. I think I'm going to put it right here. It won't get in the way if there's anything going on. I can certainly write around it. Let's see if we've got anything else we might want to add in. We do have this little guy on a mountain, so we could maybe add a little mountain sticker somewhere. Now I'm adding these in the morning because that's when I'm less likely to have things that I need to write in. Or much that I need to write in. Hopefully interviews, things like that, but those can easily go uh, around those little stickers. I do have a lunch I need to schedule for this week, and what else? I had something else that I needed to schedule. Let's see. I got the money check-in. Maybe that was what's on my brain. I do need to do the check-in here, and I think I want to get that done before his testing. So let's put that right up here. Anytime that I'm doing anything on YouTube, I like to give myself an hour and a half at least, because I will do the filming like I'm kind of doing with you now, where I'm filming whatever it is. And then I do have to go in and write descriptions and titles. And then there's usually a community post and a pinned comment and all those other things that go along with the video, and making sure that I have to watch the video, make sure that it is good. So this was 9 weeks, correct? This last week, so this would be 10. Yep, 10 weeks. Ten-week check-in. There we go. Uh, it's hard to believe that it will have been 10 weeks. It was hard to believe that this week that I hit 2 months on YouTube. That was just amazing. Um, and 10 weeks on that's interesting. On 10/10, it will be 10 weeks. That can't be a coincidence. I mean, it is, but it feels like some kind of sign. Maybe something big is going to happen that day. Um, I think that is the bulk of what I'm going to do right now for planning. I know I'm going to have some evening events, but I'm going to kind of leave it free because I do also want to do a little bit more drawing this week and that kind of thing. You know what? I say that, but I'm going to go ahead and add in a big filming block here on Monday. I think we are going to do 10 till 2, so 4 hours of filming. I do have a video. Ashley, you will probably like this since you're interested in the Coffee Monster Co. I got my June pre-order in on Friday. And so I filmed an unboxing of that, and it's scheduled for Tuesday to drop on Tuesday. So there were 12 new washies in that. I'm just going to put film video as a header here, and then I can add in what videos I want to be filming, and then check them off. But that way, if things come up work-wise later in the week, I'll have the videos filmed. Obviously, I do these two in real time, but the other ones I can film ahead and schedule those. But yeah, the Coffee Monsters Co. unboxing is scheduled for 10 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. So, and it's a long one because there were a lot of washies involved. I'll give you a quick little sneak peek here at all the different washies that we swatched in that video. Just for you, Ashley. A little quick sneak peek of what's coming. The subscription is great. I've had the Pen Pal subscription since she started it, and I love getting that every quarter. I know she's going to be changing them up next year, but hopefully they'll still have a lot of nice little goodies in them. I feel so bad for her with all of the tariff situations, and she is covering all the tariffs for all of her US customers. And so she's not charging anybody anymore for these tariff amounts. And so that's why actually this one took so long to get here, was because I had to pre-order this art desk washi in August, and I had a June pre-order that still hadn't arrived yet because I was waiting on the stamps. And so I told her to hold my June pre-order until she had that August washi available to send, so that she could recoup a little bit of the money on the shipping, because I feel so bad that she is covering all of that shipping on her own, and she won't accept, extra money for the tariffs, and they're not her fault, and it just makes me so sad that she's taken that all on, especially when she's having all kinds of health issues. Um, but anyway, that's it's her call and her choice, but I wanted to help a little bit. Um, Yeah, Wonder Pens is really good. I have ordered from Wonder Pens before, and they're great. I was looking at her US retailer as well. Um, because again, with the tariffs, she does have a US retailer. Right now, they've got all of those tapes, but they're all showing as sold out. Um, but I would not feel bad at all about ordering from Wonder Pens. I have the collaboration washies that she did with Wonder Pens. She did a version 1 and a version 2, and those are super cute. Um, and they may still have them on their site every once in a while. They still do have those, especially if you're into fountain pens. They're very, very cute. Um, trying to think when I last used them. I don't know. Let's see. Let's get out the swatch book here and look at my last, when she last did that. Twisby is my favorite too. I love the Twisby. She had collaboration with them, and there was washi involved. I know there were 4 of them. Now I'm not going to be able to find them in here. I know I have them. They're on my shelf. I tried to be really organized with this washi notebook when I first got it, and then it just, I got so many washi that it all just went away. All sense of organization went away. Anyway, um there are Wonder Pen washies. And if I don't have them in here, I definitely need to. Oh, here we go. This is version 2. And so it's got all the little fountain pens and then the writing behind it. And then she has the different pens as a separate washi and the ink bottles. And then Wonder Pens apparently has 2 little um, shop cats. And so it has this washi with the little traveler's notebook and the pen and the coffee and the little, their office cats. These are apparently what the cats look like. There is a different version of this with different backgrounds, colors, that came out first. And I do have it somewhere, but I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, I did not see it, but this is the second version of it. The first version, I think there's no text behind this, and there's a brown behind it. And I think the best way to get these is through Wonder Pens because I think that they always carry a version of these for washies, um, and so uh, that is probably your best course of action because Helen doesn't ever keep any washi on hand in stock as of right now. I know she's talked about potentially doing that in the future, but she doesn't right now. I do have do not I well I do have an Instagram account, but I don't do anything with it. Uh, so I only have it to enter contests places. Sometimes you go to like a baseball game and they say, "Oh, if you text a picture or you post a picture from your seat to Instagram, you have a chance to win money." That's kind of everything that I have done with my Instagram account. So right now I'm just trying to figure out YouTube World, and eventually I will probably add in Instagram, but for right now, I do not yet have one. It would probably be good for having kind of these finished spreads once I get to that point. But as of right now, I don't have that in place. But I think that this is going to be my week. So as you can see with the, the minimal washi, a couple little stickers, and very grayscale colors, you can do quite a nice little aesthetic. And it'll be a nice relaxing week after all of the color. I've been using a lot of color lately. And so to have kind of a breather week where everything is just this black and white and very nice, muted, kind of a relaxing, calming week, um, that'll be really nice. Now, one of the things that I will do is so this week I will stamp with this stamp set. And I'm going to do that right now because I keep talking about the fact that I need to do it, and I may as well just get it done. There we go. So all of my little sunshines are in for this week, but for next week, I will um, oh, you know what, Ashley, I will yep, for next week, you're right, Keisha, I'm gonna have some stamping fun. Um, I have got a whole bunch of these little weather stamps here, and let me grab a piece of scratch paper here. I'll grab my R&D journal, the one that I'm playing around in. So what I will do is take these colors that I've already pre-selected for the week and use these as my colors. So if you have Tombows and you have rubber stamps, you can just color right on the rubber stamp, just like that, and stamp it, and it will match your writing. And a lot of people go and clean their stamps and everything, but I find with the Tombows, at least, most of the ink does come off of the stamp, and so I don't find that I need to clean them. I could use this lighter gray right afterwards, and it would be fine. In the lighter gray. So I don't usually find the need to do that, but if you do need to clean off the stamps, you can always do that with the baby wipe. But that's probably what I'll do for my gray week, is just have a gray, and then, you can color in some of this. Maybe I want the sun to stand out or something. Uh, I cannot take credit for using Tombows with markers. I read that online. Somebody else was doing it, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. So I have a ton of stamps. I do not even own a stamp pad. Uh, so because I have all the Tombows already, and they're fantastic. One of the things that I've even done is, let's say, to get into the weeds a little on a stamp, um, let's say you want the sun to be kind of a light color. So you can color on there with that. And then you want the cloud to be a darker color. Maybe it's storming. So you just color the cloud part with the darker color. And then you have a two-tone stamp. And so you can do that with like a gray and a yellow for the sun, and that works. But yeah, it is fantastic. You can you can use, if you have your Tombows, you can use these all over the place for your stamps. And it works on any rubber stamp that you've got. So that is what I'll be using for this week. That way it'll keep the color out of this spread. Um, I am all for using things that you've already got to make things work. So since, you know, if I've already got the Tombows in all the different colors, there's no need for me to go and buy a stamp pad. Let me, I have told Keisha this before, that Ashley, that I have an old Facebook page that I made that I don't really keep up with, but you can message me there because I'm on Facebook more frequently. And so let me find that link and post that in the chat. So that way, if you want to send a message, you can send it that way. And I'm more likely to see it. If you send it through Instagram, I mean, you can find me at the same name, I believe, on Instagram, but I probably won't see it um, because I just don't go on Instagram often enough. But if you message me at Facebook, it will show up as a message in my regular Facebook, and you will be able to. Um, you can send stuff through there, and I'll see it. Um, oh, there's a just scribble group for plans. Yay! Okay, I'm heading there right now. uh, that'll be very fun. I am going to be in. Oh, fantastic! Excellent. I will. Oh, I do see you. There you are. I'm going to send a quick message back. Just so that you know it's actually me and you did not send it to the wrong place. That is, in fact, me. That is a very old picture of me, by the way, but that is me. Back in 2010, I was doing a lot of social media marketing, and this was my that was my Facebook page for social media marketing, and that was a current picture back in 2010. But I have aged a bit since then, so. All right. Well, I think that is good for this week. I want to thank you guys for joining me. It was great to have company. I always love having company when I'm doing these. Um, we're a little bit more scattered right now because I don't have that work block kind of centering the week, and that's perfectly fine. Um, you know, you don't necessarily have to have a lot going on to plan like this. Sometimes it's nice to have those gaps, and you end up filling them in with things as you go through the week. So, um, you know, for example, I will sometimes put in, I ended up with another interview, I had a filming. Um, you can add in things like this. I did some charts in the middle of the page at one point, but you know, things happen and things get put in, and it all works fine. Um, it doesn't necessarily look as full when it doesn't have that box to me, just because I'm used to seeing it. Um, Yeah, Keisha, I love it. Every Sunday I wake up and I have wonderful messages from Keisha on my videos, and I'm always excited to see what you watched on Saturday nights. That is always very, very fun. I'm glad you got to watch the 10-year journal review last night. that was a really fun one to film, especially going through some of those old journals and seeing some of the notes, like, you know, you have to wear a skirt when you go see the king. Um, that was it's just really, really fun to go back and look at all of those. I mean, I look at them when I'm looking for something frequently, but it's very rare that I will pull out all of the journals and look through all of the journals at once. So that was a really neat thing to do. So I am going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope to see you next time, and feel free to keep in contact over on Facebook. Um, and also, I did implement this week trying to add chapters to my longer videos. So hopefully that helps you guys kind of navigate your way around to what you want. Yes, I definitely do need to get out and about, Keisha. That is on the menu. I did film a little bit when we went to eat somewhere. I took a very quick video of eating, you know, taking a bite of the food, and the waiter just totally laughed at me, like out loud. And I was quite embarrassed, but I didn't die. So I think that that was kind of good practice for filming out and about, because I survived it. It was not my favorite thing to have somebody like literally snort laugh at me, but but I did it. Um, so I will definitely keep going out and about with the camera some more. I haven't really done much because I'm not working, and my partner is covering a lot of the expenses around the house. I've been really hesitant to suggest that we go and do things that cost money, um, you know, until I have something more concrete in the way of work. Um, or money coming in, at least. So until I can kind of contribute to those events, I don't necessarily want to suggest a lot of them. So I've been working on getting the house cleaned and those kind of things that are probably a little too boring to film. Uh, so um, anyhow, feel free to keep in touch with me over there on Facebook, and I will see you guys here at 9:30, hopefully next week. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.